Man podcast, friends, where men can be men. And that's true. And if you could see in the background in my room, you'll notice Clint Eastwood, the ultimate man, and my live, laugh, and love Kim Jong-un tapestry that my son gave me that has a nuclear submarine in the background. And he's also smoking a non-filtered cigarette. I'm going to probably get rid of that soon because it's not very uplifting. I just think it's fucking hilarious. All right, so today we are going to try to answer the question of how do you know if you've hit an emotional bottom? And before we get into answering that question, I want to just take 2 seconds to remind everybody the purpose of the In-Between Man podcast. And our mission is to help men understand why men are struggling in today's world. It's a huge question. It encompasses a lot of different things that we don't have any control over, and a lot of the things that I believe now we do have control over. And in this case, with today's podcast, I wanted to provide to my audience an example of DJ Shipley talking about emotional trauma and how he worked through it. But before I get into that, I also want everybody to understand that, you know, someone like DJ, someone else who's a DevGru retired Navy SEAL, also has to endure, along with all of our military, explosive concussive blasts, okay? Breacher charges, half a pound of C4, grenades going off, okay? RPGs being fired into the air. These are all assets that create a concussive blast, okay? And when you're around objects like this and dealing with the realities of warfare, okay, you're going to be experiencing trauma that most people who aren't in the military aren't going to understand. And I think the best way to understand how these types of military assets impact people is if you've ever played football, if you've ever played basketball, if you've ever played any sport, but football is the best one, and you've gotten your dinger rang to the point where you're concussed and you kind of don't know where you are, right? Like that is traumatic brain injury. That's TBI. Okay. It happens to NFL players and it happens to people in the military. And it's another thing that they have to consider while they go through the trauma of being in the military. Okay. Applying first aid to your best friend who's just had both his legs blown off from an IED, okay? Getting shot in the arm and it's dangling there and you need to put a tourniquet on, and if you don't, you die, okay? Killing people who are trying to kill you first, right? These are major mental, emotional dynamics that the everyday person doesn't have to struggle through, okay? And I want to point that out because I believe that DJ is showing us all within these clips what must be done when we become ready and willing to admit that we have reached a bottom that we can no longer sustain and pretend that we're emotionally okay. Okay. And how do you know if you've reached a bottom? Well, I would say to you wholeheartedly that you're the only one who can determine that. I can't give you a definitive answer. It's more of an accepting thing. It's more of accepting that whatever trauma you believe that you're working through needs to be shared. And most men do not do this well at all. So I think what we're going to do is, this was an interview that went on for 4.5 hours with Shawn Ryan. I've taken the last 30 minutes of this interview and I have cut it up into 12 different segments that I believe will help you understand how at least DJ got to the emotional bottom that he was in and what he needed to do in order to get better. And maybe what he didn't and couldn't do in order to get better. So this will be a practical example of that exercise. And I haven't found anything else on the internet that is explained in this level of detail that DJ provides. So my motives for putting this out there is not to relive emotional trauma that DJ is going to share, right? That's not my motive. My motive is to provide an example, one example of how someone did it. And in my opinion, DJ is a perfect role model for that, because he is able to articulate and talk about things in a way that this, middle school mind can identify with. Okay. And last but not least, how am I qualified? How do I consider myself qualified to create these 12 different edits? Well, the reality is that I do have a psychology degree, but I'm also an active member in a 12-step program and have been sober for over 31 years. And all that means is, so that you know, is that I am still capable and feel compelled to still want to help people who want to get sober. And in the course of helping people, you have to recognize when you're getting slung a load of horse shit and when somebody needs to hear the truth. And in my experience, I spent a significant portion of my sobriety being told about what I was accountable for. And I hated every single second of it. There was nothing about it that I liked. I was constantly being held accountable for my actions. And prior to coming into a 12-step program, I was not accountable for any of my actions. Everybody else was the problem. And if they just knew how great I was, they would leave me alone. And ultimately, alcohol addiction led me to isolation, no family and friends, and that my only hope was to surrender to a 12-step program. And I did. Okay. So I have 30 years of trying to identify in someone's sharing the truth versus bullshit. And so that qualifies me. Whether you agree with it or not, I don't really care. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to watch the video. Okay. But that's the intro to this In-Between-Man podcast. So let's get into the first clip. The first clip is going to start off with DJ saying, I was going to kill myself. And what you don't have context in is that prior to this comment, he had been electrocuted. He had endured going back into active duty, was taking a whole host of prescription medication just so that he could feel normal, painkillers, things of that nature. And he was able to show his leadership that he was capable of doing his job. But the flip side of that coin was he was broken, right? For many reasons. So that's the first clip. Let's get into it. And then I'll jump back in here.
I couldn't. I was going to fucking kill myself. I was back on pain pills. I couldn't do it anymore. I had all my stuff from before. I was back on Tramadol, back on Percocet from the electrocution. And I went back on status quo. I was like, well, I don't do anything half-assed. I'm going to do it. I'm going the whole way. And basically everything I did before, I just kept doing again. I just subbed out the teams for businesses and affairs, and I went.
So this is basically DJ saying, I am going to keep doing what I've always done that hasn't been working. I'm going to get back on the pain pills. I'm going to get back into this grind, and I'm going to grind this shit out. I don't do it half-ass. I run full speed ahead. And, you know, the typical kind of man language, like I am going to grind through what I need to do in order to show you how tough I am. And, you know, there's a certain length of time that works for, okay? But after a while, it doesn't work anymore. And no one can sustain the amount of prescription medication that he was taking. I mean, he was basically, you know, really at the end of the day, just a ghost of himself that was unable to function, but showed everybody that he looked like he could. And he performed, which is, you know, credit to him. Like, Jesus, I can't even freaking imagine. And so if you want to get more context on this specific clip number 1, go back. I'll include the link to this interview into the description and listen to the last 30 minutes of DJ's show. Okay. So the next clip number 2, is we get introduced to Patsy. And Patsy is DJ's wife. And I'll provide more information on her in just a second. But what she's done, because she sees DJ on a daily basis, or even on, you know, his trips when he comes back home before he goes on another deployment, is that life is not very good, right? DJ is a mess. And she loves him and she's concerned about him. And so she reaches out to some of her SEAL team friends' wives and asks for help. All right, so let's get into that one.
Came into contact. Well, I mean, I know you guys knew each other before, but Patsy made a call to Amber Capone. What?
So we heard about it. We heard what Marcus and Amber were doing, and
what was the final straw? I mean, it sounded like it was like the last call of desperation there.
So Marcus and Amber did, I guess you'd call it a commercial. It was kind of like their story, and we knew their story, like we known them the entire time, so we knew everything they had been through. I mean, broad brush, I mean, we knew. And they made this trailer, I guess, and I was gone on a trip, and she sent it to me, and I was laying in bed at a fucking Marriott, and I watched that thing, and I bawled my eyes out, uncontrollably. Because I knew how bad I had taken, I knew how far I had went, and I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't think it was able to be fixed. I didn't. And she sent it to me, and she went, "If you love me, you'll go."
Little backstory on Patsy, who's DJ's wife. She, if you've heard of Marcus Luttrell, which I'm sure you have, Operation Red Wing, Patsy was married to Danny Dietz, who was the communications SEAL with Axelrod, Marcus Luttrell, and Murphy. And he died, of course, right? So she has now gone through that trauma, which I can't even imagine, and she is remarried DJ. All right, so she's reaching out to Amber and Marcus Capone for help. Now, what I'm going to do here is, I think I have the commercial or the trailer that Amber and Marcus put together to promote psychedelic research. Okay, so these two, Amber and Marcus, have created a non-for-profit called V.E.T.S. And what they've learned through being in the teams and even, you know, other military organizations that have endured, that have operators that have endured massive concussive blasts, that this psychedelic research can really be a massive game changer for helping our veterans go through the traumas of not only war and everything that encompasses with that, but even personal dynamics, right? Like the average person, you and I, we may have some demons in the closet from childhood or whatever it happens to be. That's all inclusive. But these guys have traumatic brain injuries, concussions, dead spots in their brain where they just aren't remembering shit. And it's absolutely much more difficult to understand how they're working through from retiring from the military and going into the civilian life. Now, what's incredible about Marcus's story is that Marcus Capone is also on the development group team, and he's actually a breacher. So he's putting, a 1 pound C4 charge on a steel door that is stopping them from getting into completing their mission. And, he's clicking this thing off, maybe 10 feet away from this concussive blast 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 times a week. So, is it safe to assume that he's experienced 500 of these things? Could be 1,000. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is that Marcus's story too has a lot of similar situations and dynamics that DJ's has, but a lot of it is shared by his wife, and I'm considering doing a podcast on that. So we know that this trailer is significant enough that it made DJ cry, emotionally cry. Like it touched him in a way where he was like, wow. That's got to be a pretty good video. And I watched the video, and it is touching, incredibly touching. And so anyway, I'll put it in the comments, and you can listen to it. And so getting into the third clip, what we're going to be hearing from DJ is oh, that's weird. What he is going to decide to do after watching that video.
It's kind of a weird thing for a wife to ask your husband to go to Mexico and do drugs, try to fix yourself. And I went, I'll go. It didn't matter though. I wasn't hopeful. Once she said she wanted me to go, it was like a beacon of light. It let in some hope. She does give a shit. She does want me better. Like, she wants me back. She's willing to work this out. She's willing to accept me. She didn't know everything that was going on. She didn't. She might have had an assumption, but she didn't know. She definitely didn't know the severity of the affairs. She didn't.
DJ says, I'm all in. I'm going. Right? I'm going. I'm going to do this thing. But at the same time, too, he didn't have a lot of hope. Right? So what I hear when I hear him say that is it might be one of those experiences where I can hash through, some other personal challenges that I've had, because he's had a few. But he's not going to talk about his secret. He's not going to talk about the one thing that is still making him feel unique and different for so many reasons. Because he's going to talk about the fact that, he's been cheating on his wife for the last 2 years. So now Patsy is reaching out and say, whatever you got going on, because she doesn't know that he's cheating on her, go take care of it. If you love me, you'll do this. But DJ is like, oh my God, she's willing to forgive me, but I can't forgive myself for what I did. And I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to share everything. And the only reason why I'm pointing this out is because if you don't share everything, you can absolutely have one or two things left over that will be enough justification to put yourself in the grave. Okay, that's the only reason why I'm bringing this up. So DJ was willing to go, but he wasn't all in on sharing everything, and I respect that. I get that. Okay, I understand that. I respect it, and good for him for going, right? And that's what transpired. So in this next video, he fully confirms that he's not been 100% honest with everybody who are going to be partaking in this psychedelic treatment. There are other Navy SEALs that are going to be joining him. It's a process. It's not like, you just go into a fucking outhouse and take this stuff. I mean, there's a process, there's a procedure, there's a breakdown. You have somebody with you and all that kind of stuff. But what I found most compelling is the power of being emotionally stoic, which is one of the traits that men need to have in the traditional male value system that confirms they're a man. So it makes perfect sense why DJ decides not to share his secret. Okay? And you'll see what happens when he does that. All right?
What I didn't do was be honest to the people around me on what I was going through. I didn't tell them everything I had going on. The shit overseas, the disappointments on retirement, the transition life, the affairs, drama with my family, just everything. I didn't let them know how bad it was. And I had a fucking serious secret. I had one that I couldn't come back from. There's no way. It's my defining moment, and that'll be the last thing that anyone ever hears about me is how bad I fucked this up. And there's no way to fix it. So it's every day we got closer and closer to Mexico. I fell more and more in love with my wife and kids.
It's hard to hear, right? It's really hard to hear that someone like DJ sees himself as a coward. Because he knows even through all of the benefits that this medicine has provided to him, and even working through the trauma of doing what he did with his wife, he has made the decision that he's not gonna share with anybody, right? So I'm going through a healing process, but I'm gonna deny myself the ability to make an amends, because I believe that my amends is so horrific, and the outcome and outlash that I could get from my community is so severe that I'm not going to do it. I mean, that just goes to show you how cunning this emotional stoicism is, that I can't do it. I won't do it. And because of that, I'm willing to seal the deal on myself, because I can't face the reality of what I've done. And again, I totally understand that. I identify with this. I identify with this in so many ways because of what we tell ourselves before we make the decision to actually say we're going to get it all out, no matter how bad it is. Okay? And some people, in this case with DJ, will not share this information, no matter what. And that's a hard place to be. That's a lot of stuffing and a lot of denial and the hurt that he is causing himself, which he may not really know, is unimaginable, right? It's unimaginable. It's the perfect setup, right? It's the perfect setup to confirm how much I hate myself. I'm willing to do the work. My wife asked me to go. I am such an absolute asshole for what I've done. I'm not going to admit it, right? We've painted myself into a corner, and this is confirmation of how bad I am. It's tragic, man. It's fucking tragic. And this is what men do. I mean, can anybody else identify with that? I know I can. Like, I don't deserve to be forgiven. I have earned the right, based on what I've done to another human being, to not be forgiven. Right? That's where we go. And I'm sticking to it. And that's what this clip is. All right? So we're going to get into clip number 7 right now. Get the fuck out.
We link up with Marcus and Amber, and we fly out there, and we put in some serious fucking work, man. That medicine, that entire experience is nothing on this universe. It can't be quantified. You can't do an experience and pass it off and tell somebody your story, and it sounds too bizarre. It just does. Divine intervention and everything else. You believe in aliens after that shit. Like it doesn't make sense. The word cosmic comes up a lot when people do it. Like you feel like you're one with the universe. It's weird. You become interconnected to everything, and you understand everything you've ever done. And it is at the forefront of your mind when you wake up the next day.
So we're on the plane to Mexico, and DJ shares with you his experience taking some of these psychedelics. And I'll be honest with you, it sounds incredible and absolutely terrifying at the same time, right? Like being connected to the entire universe. Like, okay. And at the end of the day, I think that there's something to be said about this type of surgery, this type of medication or process or therapy, because these military guys have dynamics that most people in the real world aren't ever confronted with, right? Like, so if it's going to help them get to the point where they need to get to, then let them get there. And I just love how he breaks it all down and how he connects it. It sounds like it was incredibly spiritual, if that's the right word you want to use. And yeah. All right. So let's get into the next one. 6.
And I knew it was all for nothing. I knew it didn't matter. There's no going home for me. Just the thoughts that go through your mind when you know you fucked up so bad, you can't come back from it. What do you say? Like, how do you enjoy that experience? How do you process the information knowing you'll never get to share it with another human being? Because at the end of this road, I got to fucking kill myself. And that's what it was. That's a hard thing to wrap your head around. Like, I'm so selfish. I'm such a fucking coward that instead of face the music, this is what's going to happen.
That's hard to hear, right? It's really hard to hear that someone like DJ sees himself as a coward. As a coward because he knows, even through all of the benefits that this medicine has provided to him, and even working through the trauma of, doing what he did with his wife, he has made the decision that he's not gonna share it with anybody, right? So I'm going through a healing process, but I'm going to deny myself the ability to make an amends, because I believe that my amends is so horrific, and the outcome and outlash that I could get from my community is so severe that I'm not going to do it. I mean, that just goes to show you. That just goes to show you how cunning this emotional stoicism is, that I can't do it. I won't do it. And because of that, I'm willing to seal the deal on myself because I can't face the reality of what I've done. And again, I totally understand that. I identify with this. I identify with this in so many ways because of what we tell ourselves before we make the decision to actually say we're going to get it all out, no matter how bad it is. Okay? And some people, in this case with DJ, will not share this information, no matter what. And that's a hard place to be. That's a lot of stuffing and a lot of denial, and the hurt that he is causing himself, which he may not really know, is unimaginable, right? It's unimaginable. It's the perfect setup, right? It's the perfect setup to confirm how much I hate myself. I'm willing to do the work. My wife asked me to go. I am such an absolute asshole for what I've done. I'm not going to admit it, right? We've painted myself into a corner, and this is confirmation of how bad I am. It's tragic, man. It's fucking tragic. And this is what men do. I mean, can anybody else identify with that? I know I can. Like, I don't deserve to be forgiven. I have earned the right, based on what I've done to another human being, to not be forgiven. Right? That's where we go. And I'm sticking to it. And that's what this clip is. All right? So we're going to get into clip number 7 right now.
Ceremony, we all come together and we're working through trauma together. It's a bunch of team guys in the same room, a bunch of them we know, a couple of them we don't know. And the common theme, because I'll just say it now, after I began, I'll just say it. I looked at all of them, and they were pouring out some serious shit, some serious childhood traumas, and dumping them on the table for everyone to see. And I called them all out. Like, fuck you guys. I've been sitting here for 16 fucking years alone, thinking I'm the only fucking dude. You've been my best friend my entire time. You've never told me that. Why'd you let me do this alone? Why? Like, how many fucking times I almost blew my head off in a fucking guest room? Why? Why didn't you fucking tell me, man? It's fucking rough, dude. And you see the collective, everyone in the fucking room the exact same way. Dudes had been in 25 years. Had a fucking 30-year Master Chief in there. Same fucking thing. Like, why? Why the fuck didn't you say it? I want a fucking answer, tell me. I didn't have one. Like, I wasn't ready. You better fucking get ready. Like, if any of you dudes go back home and you don't jump on the first building and scream from the fucking rooftops, this shit will save you, and fuck you. Don't be a senior man with a secret, not with this shit. I would have been so much better off if people would have just said it. Like, this happened and this is how I'm feeling. It's okay to not be okay. This shit is fucking, this is life, man. Like, as bad as we want to feel like we're Universal Soldiers and fucking Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude, we're not. Like, we're grown-ass men that have kids that call us Papa. You got to stay up late and do homework. We got to drop kids off on school buses. And you got to get on a fucking airplane and fly away and never see them again. You got to be okay with that. And it's a hard thing to do, especially when you do it solo. When you never say it. Not that it's not there, it's there. It's on the forefront of everybody's mind. And you're just not saying it.
Right. So I love this clip in particular. I absolutely love it. And I'm gonna tell you why. One of the hardest parts about, going through this process is taking, accountability for what, we've done. And I believe, based on what I've heard and what I've seen from DJ, is he is in a place where everyone, it sounds like everyone, is not holding on to secrets, right? They've come to this psychedelic retreat with everything on the table, right? And DJ's the only one, maybe, in this case, let's just say he's the only one who is holding on to a secret. So he's not dumping everything on the table, or at least the one thing that is killing him the most out on the table. And as he's going through these, conversations and talks with other people who have experienced this drug, he gets fucking mad. He gets mad at the fact that his brothers in arms, right? The people that he's been best friends with, the people that he's, that he's been with where they've killed people. They've done incredible acts of war stuff together. Like, how in the fuck can you not tell me that you have gone through this? Do you know how much easier my life would be if you had told me this? Do you know if you just told me, I wouldn't have felt alone for 16 years and by myself, right? So if you just did something differently, my life would be so much better. And that's what I think he's mad about. I think he's mad about the fact that he has a secret and no one else does, and everybody else is putting it out on the table. And he's like, what the fuck, dude? This shit's bad. It's as bad as what we're talking about and what I know to be true, but I'm not willing to share. So fuck you, right? Like, that's a legitimate response, I think, for someone who is struggling with getting this secret out. And I respect it. I get it. It's hard when you're in the state of the mind that DJ's in to be open to accepting the fact that you're actually doing what needs to be done here to purge everything. And that's not where DJ is, right? So you can hear his frustration, like, you better get on the fucking mountaintop and let everybody know just how great this is and how amazing it is for you, because fuck you if you don't. Like, okay, I get it. I totally get it, right? If you had just done this, I would have been so much better. But the reality is, just like the topic of this fucking podcast, how do you know when you're ready? How do you know when you've hit a bottom? People only know when they've hit a bottom when they usually go out and do this type of stuff. So they're holding on to garbage for a really long time. And what's different than what DJ did in this opportunity is get it all out. And rightfully so, he's angry. And I get that. And 100% understand it. And no judgment. Just saying, I totally get it. All right, let's go to the next one.
So we had a beautiful DMT. We sent up a couple guys, and they are saving me last. I think maybe they thought I was going to have a conniption. Because everybody knew I was really working through some shit, and they just didn't know how bad it was. And I laid back. We smoked the 5, laid back, and I've never cried like that in my whole fucking life. Every ounce of pain I have caused my wife, I've caused my kids, and anyone else, I felt right then. And I did it over and over. I was chasing the release. All this negative shit had filled up, and it was coming out of my mouth, and I couldn't stop it. I needed to purge all of this hate that I had inside me, and it was really just hatred for myself. They told you, you'll know when you're done. You'll wake up, and it could be on the first dose, it could be on the 5th dose, it doesn't matter, you'll know when you're done. And I rolled over and I was done. Like, I was at complete peace with everything. Like, I've never felt so alive. I've never felt so connected to this earth. I've never wanted to go strap on body armor and deploy more in my entire fucking life. I felt like I had a superpower. We all did, and we all talked about it. I feel like I know something no one else on this earth knows. It's like you do. It's like you have a secret no one else knows. Like, this medicine will save everybody. Fuck, I wish I could just give it to everybody right now and fix everybody. It's not how it works. And we're still processing all this information.
I love this clip. I think it's absolutely incredible. And I don't think that you need to have a psychedelic experience in order to feel the same effects that DJ had, because I felt the same way when I went through this process with someone. When you are in a safe enough place where you're not feeling like you're going to be judged for anything that you share, when you've accepted the fact that you're going to let everything all hang out. You know, the analogy that I love to use is that, you know, if you've been carrying around a backpack full of all these little tiny rocks of emotions that you have stuffed in your body for however many years, right? You carry this backpack around, and it, over time, over years, over decades, it just gets to be weighing so much that you can't your knees give out, right? Like, your knees blow out. You can't perform the way that you performed anymore, because the toxic shit that you have in your body and you're lugging around in this fucking backpack is too much, and you've had enough, right? And in this case, you know, when you reach into that backpack and you pull out one stone and you share about it and you throw it back in the river, it's like, really? Is it that fucking easy? I mean, it's not easy. You have to be willing to do it. And that's part of the action. That's the hardest part. But when you start doing one, and then you do two, and then you do three, it's like you're levitating above the ground. It's like these years of, you know, emotions that you have stuffed in your body for so long are being freed, and you feel like you're reborn, right? I mean, someone may call it, you know, you might first feel the presence of a higher power or whatever you want to call it after something like that. And for me, that's exactly what happened. Like, I knew from that day forward, when I purged everything out that I knew I had, because stuff will come back up later that you'll need to share as well with the right person, that I felt alive in a way that I've never felt alive before. You know, I had gotten all the toxicity out of my body. It's like, like when you're sick and you feel like you got to throw up, and you're like, oh man, I don't want to throw up because I know it's going to be really bad, but you know you're going to feel great after you throw up, and you finally throw up and you're like, whoa, I feel so much better now. Like, that's what it's like. But imagine feeling like walking around your entire life like you got to throw up all the time. It sucks. That's what we endure. That's what we think that we should endure as men, walking around with a fucking stomach virus, bloating us up and telling everybody we're fine. Right? That's an equivalent example. And, you know, he was talking about all the things that he hated about himself. And listen, when you get that stuff out too, god damn, you're going to have the same reaction or same response, I believe, that DJ did. And remember, this thing is all individual. What I may experience, what DJ's experience may not be what you experience, but it's your experience because you're doing the work. And not one of these things are the same. Why? Because we're all different. Every single one of us is fucking different. So what you will encounter will be different versus what DJ encountered, versus what Rennick encountered, versus what, you know, Tim encountered, whoever it happens to be. But the act of doing it, whether it be through psychological therapies or psychedelic therapies, or just through the means of communication, it's been my experience of how effective it can be. And you're reborn, guys. You really are. Okay, I'm done.
We get to the airport, and I'm on pins and needles, man. I can't even fucking breathe because I have this secret, and I don't know how it's going to get out. And now I'm starting to question, like, does she know? She find out about the affairs, like, what the fuck is going on? We get into the airport. We stop in a layover in Atlanta, and I power on my phone, and there's a notification that pops up that says password's been changed to my email. Like, that's weird. And then I go to log on to, I had a ghost Instagram account that I was running all these affairs on. And she had hacked into that. She changed the password and opened it up. And she opened it up on Friday when we went River City. And she had all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and all day Monday to read through everything I had said and done for the last 2 years. Everything. And you're a team guy, so you know exactly what those were. And she read it all. And at the very end of it, she found out that one of the people I was having an affair with was pregnant.
We're on the plane ride home. You know, DJ's gone through this cleansing, right? But what's the one thing that he didn't share, right? And now he's obsessing about that. Like, oh my God, you know, what has she found out? You know, like, I got to go face the music now because I haven't told anybody my secret. So on the way home, right, he powers on his phone, and all of a sudden, his worst nightmares come true. His wife has hacked into his freaking Instagram account, his ghost account, where he's had all these affairs. And for 3 straight days, she's going through every single one. Every single one. And to make matters more complicated is that, you know, he's gotten somebody pregnant. I don't think I need to explain to you any more of how dire the situation is, right? It's I don't have any words. Based on what I've told you already, you can draw your own conclusion, but this is DJ's worst nightmare coming to fruition. And you'll hear in the next video that there's just no coming back from that. You know what I mean? Like, he's finally realized what he's done, and he's ready to follow through with what he's willing to do after already going through so much cleansing. Man. Anyway, let's go to I think I'll simply say that DJ has finally shown the world, his wife and everybody else around him, how much he actually hates himself. And dude, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. What I will say is I commend him for sharing it. And I love him for sharing it. And I love him for being willing to share it. Because his story is heartbreaking and real. And just like he said, I'm no different than anyone else. I put my legs on the same leg way that you do. We got kids. We got all those things. Like, but this is where we go. All right?
Take a big breath and I walk upstairs in my office, and every fucking thing I owned is in cardboard boxes sitting in my office. Everything. And there was just printouts of all these text messages that I'd been sending out. Screenshots of pictures and all kinds of shit. There's everything in there. And I knew. That's it. Ain't no coming back from that one. There's no coming back from that one. It's heavy, man. And I saw the other wives, give everybody a hug. And
if DJ's secret has come out, and you know, he comes home and everything he owns is in a box, right? Like, he was prepared to get what he thought he deserved for the way that he was treating his wife. And he feels justified now. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. It's confirmation of just how bad he feels about himself, right? It's right in front of him. You can't miss it. Nobody can miss it. It's right there for everybody to see. And he hates himself. He absolutely hates himself. And as he has said in other videos, you can't come back from it. So DJ has made up his mind on what he's going to do. And in this clip, part of what you missed is all the wives and the husbands who went on this retreat get together, and Patsy doesn't show up. She's the only wife who's not there. And she's not returning his phone calls. She's not responding to any text messages. She is ghosting him. She cannot fathom to communicate with DJ. That's how much pain she's in. And DJ knows it. And he's ashamed. He's broken up. And you'll hear what happens next. What I'll also say, too, is, and this could be a controversial statement, but I believe it to be true, is that stories like this one, I do believe are divinely inspired. I'll just leave it at that. I do believe. I do.
Kissed him on the cheek, told him I loved him, and said I'd call him in a little bit. And I had no intention of calling him in a little bit. I jumped in my truck and I drove straight out to Sandbridge, right out by the ocean. And I backed my truck up right next to the command gate, and I sat there in my truck and I contemplated everything I had done my entire fucking life, from the fallout with my parents to the, having kids and the affairs and everything in between, actions overseas, everything I'd ever done. It was so crystal clear. It was like I had superhuman memory for the first time. I remembered everything, but it wasn't anything positive. It was just all the terrible shit I had done. And it was at the forefront of my mind, and I didn't have the courage to call Patsy. I didn't. Thinking about making that phone call and her not answering, but her just dismissing me, I couldn't do it. All I wanted to do was see my kids. That was it. Just let me see my two girls. Just give me one fucking glimpse of them, and I'll be out of your hair. Just let me say goodbye to them. And I'm parked over there, and she called me. Out of the fucking blue, just called me. And she was tracking me. The call had actually followed me, so he knew where I was going. She tracked my location, knew exactly what I was going to do. And she called me. And she's like, hey, I need to see you. I need to see you fucking face to face right now. Is that okay?
Had you made your mind up how you were going to do it?
Yep. I shoot myself right in the front seat of that truck. Made a video for the kids, whole thing. Selfie video, that's it. Fuck, man.
So she found you.
She fucking drove up, parked right next to me. She got out of that car like she had 1,000 times, and I was sitting on the tailgate, and she walked over to me. I was sitting on the tailgate, and she walked right in between my legs and pulled my glasses off my fucking face. And she cried. I've never seen a woman cry like that. Fuck. Bawled her fucking eyes out. So did I. I mean, one of those uncontrollable ones where shit's just coming out of your face. And I was trying to tell her how sorry I was, how much I regretted everything, and she looked at me right in the fucking eyes, and she knew that I was back. It's the weirdest thing, you can't explain it. But she looked at me, and my eyes were clear for the first time. I was off all pain meds. When I woke up from Ibogaine, never had another painkiller. No Cymbalta, no Adderall, no Copenhagen, no nothing. No affairs, nothing. Since then. But she saw it. She saw that I was completely sober for the first time ever. And she looked me right in the fucking eyes and she said, "Are you willing to try to work this out?" I said, "Abso-fucking-lutely." And she was like, "I don't know if that means we're married." But she's like, "I can't have you kill yourself." She's like, "These fucking kids need you too much. The shop needs you. Don't do this to these families. Like, you and me can figure out a common ground." And that's all I wanted. I knew we'd never stay married. I don't fucking deserve her. I just didn't want to lose it all. I didn't want to end it like that. And we went back, we had a super hard conversation. And she asked me, she's like, "I want to know everything right now." And I fucking told her everything. I fell on my sword, and for the first time in my life, I didn't filter a fucking thing. I sent it the whole way. I told her every ounce of it, every detail, how long it had been going on, why it had been going on, and what I'm going to do now. And I told her, I was like, I don't want you to stay with me. I don't want you to stay married to me. I want the opportunity to make it up to you. Just give me one fucking chance to prove to you every day that I'm fucking sorry. Like, I don't need to be forgiven. Just give me the opportunity to make it okay. And every day I wake up with that on the forefront of my mind. Like, I'm going to show you today how committed I am. I'll show you today how far I'm willing to go for the family. And that's the goal every day. And ever since that fucking day, since I landed in Virginia Beach, we have never been better. It's
So in your darkest hour, when you are moments away, when you've just finished filming a video of your final goodbye to your two daughters, right? And you've put it down on the seat in front of you. You are now ready to take the final step. You get a phone call from the one person who you were too afraid to call. And they say this to you. Are you willing to work this out? Right? I mean, he talked about, I love his description about crying, like just the shit just coming out of your face. Right? What I want to just point out is who is this woman? Right? Like, this woman has the capacity to forgive, to show grace and unconditional love to someone who's unfortunately showed how much they hate themselves by hurting the one that they love the most. And I've done it. Okay? I'm not judging. This is not a fucking judgment zone. I get it. Sometimes that's the only way that we know how to act out is I'll show you, I'll hurt myself. And it can be done in those types of ways. But like, do you remember what I said about divinely inspired? Like, right before it happens, right after the selfie message to your daughter, to your daughters, to I'm not going to share the secret and I'm going to follow through with how much I hate myself, to I can't have you kill yourself. Our kids and the members of our team, your business, need you too much. That's what someone says to you. Huh? Who does that kind of stuff today? I don't know of a lot of people. I would say 99.5% of the people in the world who this has happened to would gladly say, fucking go ahead. Kill yourself. You know, you deserve it. Not this woman. Not this frickin' angel. And he told her everything. Didn't hold anything back. He told everything to her. And she accepted it all. Now, I'm not saying that there might be times where she might be resentful or mad or whatever, but who's willing to do that? Patsy Shipley, if you ever watch this video, please know that I love you very much. Your example of unconditional love and grace for the man that you love has inspired me to know that if both of you can have that, then maybe I can have it too someday. It's fucking incredible. All right? That's how I'm going to end that one. We got one more clip.
Bad memories I'll take. The look on her face. That's what keeps me up at night. Just the breach of loyalty. She trusted me. Everybody did. They trusted me to do her right, and I fucking didn't. I let my ego take control. And it fucking sucks. Some fucking heavy shit, man.
Yeah, that is some real heavy shit. That's an amazing woman.
No shit. If we think back to not going to Mexico.
I think we got to give ourselves, we got to give a shout out to Shawn Ryan. Holy Christ. He was freaking stoic, right? That's an amazing woman. He was, yeah, man. Big shout out to Shawn Ryan. And I love it. You know, and if that's what DJ needs to do to show his unconditional love for his wife, is to get up every day and prove to her that she never, that, you know, her decision was a good one, then that works for me. And I believe him. Do you? I think he loves this woman more than you could ever possibly imagine. Who wouldn't? You know? Who wouldn't? And I would say that there are not many examples of stories like this, with the exception of DJ, that end in this capacity. Not many men, you know, have surrounded themselves. I mean, let's just face it, there's not a lot of DJ Shipley wives out there, or Patsy Shipley wives out there. Like, she's a diamond in the rough. And I think, you know, DJ was really lucky because he won the lottery with her. I mean, like, holy cow, are you kidding me? And, you know, in closing, it takes a real man to take stock of things that have happened to us that we've stuffed for a long time and share them with a priest or whoever it happens to be. That's what a real man does. Unfortunately, today, real men are so entrenched with this notion of emotional stoicism that we have learned over centuries, that we have to get to a place like DJ's in and be close to killing ourselves before we realize we need to talk about what we need to talk about. And even in DJ's case, he wasn't fully honest. And I'm not judging him for that. It's fucking hard, man. I mean, if it's hard for DJ Shipley, it's hard for everybody. Not just him. Not just me. It's hard for everybody. This is the action of real men who are willing to share vulnerable dynamics that have made them toxic for decades. And I simply just wanted to share with you one example of what it's like when you don't keep it all inside. Listen, man, if I can do it, you can do it. If DJ can do it, if Marcus Capone can do it, you can fucking do it. I am not a power of example. I'm just another fucking bozo on the bus who was in enough emotional pain that I wasn't willing to kill myself. And this was the only other option I had because I drowned and failed on every other option before. So how do you know if you've hit an emotional bottom? It's up to you. It's up to you. How much more pain are you willing to endure? And men are capable of handling unimaginable amounts of emotional pain to not do this. So turn it around. Use the effort that you used to not share anybody to just fucking do it. And I'm not just saying with your brother. I mean, like you gotta find the right person. And there's thousands of therapists and, you know, preachers and priests and, you know, rabbis and all that kind of stuff that are available for this kind of stuff. But it's not anything you want to do on a whim after a cup of coffee and a fucking donut. You know what I mean? So that's today's episode. I'd like to thank DJ for being honest. I'd like to thank Shawn for interviewing him. And you know where you need to go if you want to follow more of me. And that's all I got. I'll see you on the next one.